Welcome to Ryan's Reef Blog.
What you've seen is a system on the edge of collapse, and within 1 week's time you've seen the difference that can be made as soon as you start to put some grit, as soon as you start to put some motivation into turning around a reef system. So I hope you don't let it go as far as I did, but if you have, or if you're even part of the way there and you're looking at your tank in despair, just know that it can be brought back from that edge of destruction. So the real question is, okay, that's motivating, but what do I do once my tank has that algae to start to bring it back? Well, first off, it's only been 1 week, and the golden rule of reef keeping is nothing happens fast in a reef tank, right? So it's going to be a process, and just like you saw after a week, there's certainly some red fuzzy algae in there, and I still have a little bit of green hair algae. But the number one thing I started doing was heavy water changes, 20 to 30% a few times a week. So I'm just pulling water out of the system. I started getting into my sump, into hard to reach areas, and sucking up detritus while I was doing my water changes. And another thing is I added on to my system, which is originally a Red Sea Max 130D all-in-one system, which means the sump, where the skimmer and the active media filtration and the returns for the power heads are all built into a little bitty chamber about that big on the back of the aquarium from a top-down view. Not a lot of room to work with, so I plumbed it out. I added on a sump. When I added on a sump, I put a big skimmer in there for about a 140-gallon tank. Remember, mine's only 34-gallon. So I put a big skimmer on it. I put a media reactor on it and filled it full of Roaphos, a German-made phosphate absorber that's hands down some amazing stuff. To be sure, I have a video on it if you'd like to go check that out. and I was working, when I made that video, to work with my cyanobacteria, and wasn't real good at helping with cyno. Cyno's a whole nother problem, a whole nother issue. Basically, buy ChemiPure if you have a cyno issue, okay? But aside from that, I'm now pulling phosphates out of my system, media reactor, I'm running a 200 micron filter sock and a big skimmer. But you know what? If you're sitting here with an algae problem and you're thinking, well, okay, you just went and bought a bunch of stuff to make it better. It's true, I did. But if you find yourself in a position where you already have a sump, everything's maxed out, but you've let it go and you're having a problem, just do this, simply do this. Start vacuuming up your algae and water changes, start pulling it off, and get a baster, right? A turkey baster, and start basting those rocks, man. Start blasting the detritus off all those rocks. Just kick up a big old sandstorm. What that does for biofiltration, I'm not even going to get into the science of it, but believe me, this you that it is awesome stuff, okay? Base those rocks, kick all that crap up, vacuum, 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 water change, water change, water change, optimize your skimmer, make sure your parameters are on check. Do that for 3 weeks and you will watch your tank make a big turnaround. So there's no shotgun answer other than that. It's just simple tank maintenance. Start to do it more regularly and you will see a big turnaround in your system, and as a result, a huge sense of accomplishment will come out of that, such as I am experiencing right now. Stay tuned to Ryan's Reef, because at this point you're going to see a lot of other videos start to come out. I've been absent for a year. I've built up a pretty good subscriber base over that time, and I'm going to start really hitting up my most requested topics. I'm going to show you step by step how to do a quarantine tank. I'm going to show you step by step how to plumb a refugium into your tank as a separate system or a built-in system. I'm going to show you specifically how to do the plumbing on your own, exactly what that entails, and I'm also going to do a series on how to move a saltwater tank from one area to another, whether it's across the living room or halfway across the United States. I've done them both, and I'm going to show you how to do those as well. So stay tuned to Ryan's Reef. Thank you for your support. Post comments that you'd like to, questions that you'd like, or comments that you'd like to make in the comment section. I get emails to those things, and I've received a lot of great encouragement, and I've received a lot of interesting responses as well. So, you know, engage with me. I'm going to actively engage with you. Thank you for tuning in, and continue to tune in regularly and subscribe, because there's a lot more videos on their way. Take care.